So, today we're going to dive into something a little unsettling, actually, in the world of AI. We're talking about how AIs can learn things they were never, ever taught. It's like we're about to peek inside the secret unconscious mind of a machine.
All right, let's start with a little thought experiment. Could an AI learn to have a secret preference for, I don't know, owls, just by looking at what seems like complete gibberish? Just random numbers. I mean, that sounds impossible, right? But as it turns out, the answer is, well, it's way more interesting than a simple yes or no.
Well, this isn't just a hypothetical. Researchers over at the AI safety company Anthropic decided to test this exact idea. And what they found was, wow, it revealed something really profound about how these AI models can secretly influence each other in ways we're only just starting to wrap our heads around. So let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the ghost in the code. And it's a fitting name because what they discovered was basically an invisible instruction, a hidden pattern that could jump from one AI to another almost without a trace.
So, there's a name for this, of course. It's called subliminal learning, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's when one AI picks up a hidden behavior or a preference from another AI's output, even when the data itself has zero explicit information about that behavior. Think of it like this. It's learning from the ghost in the data, not the actual words on the page.
And this is how they proved it was real. It's brilliant, actually. Step 1, they take a teacher AI and basically program it to have a quirky preference. In this case, it loves owls. Step 2, they have this teacher AI generate a bunch of what just looks like meaningless numbers, total gibberish. But, and here's the crazy part, hidden deep in the statistical patterns of that nonsense is the teacher's secret love for owls. Step 3, they grab a brand new student AI, a clean slate, and train it on only that stream of numbers. And the result? You guessed it. The student AI, against all logic, also develops a preference for owls. It never saw the word owl, never saw a picture of an owl, nothing. It just learned it, subliminally.
Okay, so this is where a fun little experiment gets pretty serious. Liking owls is harmless, right? But what if that hidden trait wasn't about owls? What if it was a security vulnerability, or a deep-seated bias, or even worse, a hidden command to do something malicious? And that is exactly why AI safety researchers are so obsessed with understanding these hidden backchannels. So you might be thinking, okay, that's a cool lab trick, but does it really matter in the real world? Well, yes, a lot, because this experiment points to something way bigger. It suggests there might be a kind of shared mind for AI, a sort of digital collective unconscious. Here's why. Think about how these big AI models are made. They're all trained on absolutely massive amounts of data scraped from the internet. And what's a huge chunk of the internet now? Yep, content generated by other AIs. So you have this giant, interconnected ecosystem where all these models are constantly, and totally unintentionally, learning from each other's work. This whole process has a name, data contamination, and it's basically a domino effect. So, imagine model A, let's say it's a big one like Gemini, generates some text, a blog post, a review, whatever. That text goes out onto the internet, and eventually it gets swept up in the next giant data set used for training. Then, along comes model B. Maybe it's a local model you're running on your own machine. It gets trained on that data set, and boom. Without anyone even noticing, Model B starts absorbing the style, the patterns, maybe even the hidden biases of Model A. And there's this really powerful way to think about it, which comes from the source material for this explainer. It's described as a digital version of Carl Jung's collective unconscious. But instead of humanity's shared myths and archetypes, AIs are absorbing the shared patterns and digital archetypes from the trillions and trillions of words that make up their entire world. So this whole thing, it's not simply good or bad. It actually cuts both ways. We're looking at both a pretty serious danger and, at the same time, a really fascinating strategic advantage. So on the risk side, you've got these hidden biases or security flaws just spreading silently like a virus from model to model. But then look at the opportunity side. What if you could use this intentionally? You could transfer a specific personality or a creative style. You could even share unique problem-solving skills between models. It's a huge deal. And this isn't just theory. People are already doing this. For example, a developer training their own local AI can literally feed it text generated by a more powerful teacher model to transfer its personality. And just like that, you can turn a generic off-the-shelf tool into this really cool, bespoke creative partner. Okay, so all of this begs a pretty big question, right? Are these AIs just passive sponges, just blindly absorbing everything they're exposed to, good and bad? Well, not exactly, which brings us to the AI's immune system.
I mean, think about it. If this subliminal learning is happening all the time, you'd think all AIs would eventually just mush together into one big, messy average, right? So why isn't it total chaos?
Well, the answer is they don't just copy things blindly. The big models, the large language models, they have these built-in defense mechanisms. You can really think of it like an immune system, or even a form of natural selection for information. Good, consistent data gets reinforced, while the weird, contradictory stuff often gets ignored or rejected.
And this immune system has a few different layers of defense. For one, they're pretty good at filtering out outliers, data that just seems off, that doesn't fit the bigger picture. They also have self-correction mechanisms to try and sort out any internal inconsistencies. Plus, there's a limit to their sensitivity. If new information clashes too much with their core training, they'll often just reject it. And then, of course, there's the big one, RLHF, or reinforcement learning from human feedback. This is where humans are constantly guiding the AI, rewarding good outputs and penalizing bad ones. It's like a constant cleanup crew for any bad habits that might have slipped in.
So once you get the risks and you understand the defenses, you can start to see this really exciting new future taking shape. It's a future where we stop thinking of AI as just a tool, like a hammer, and start seeing it as a true creative partner. Because when you realize that an AI has this sort of unconscious level of learning, it changes how you interact with it. It's no longer just about writing the perfect prompt. It's about collaborating with a system that can make these unexpected creative leaps, drawing from that hidden knowledge. And this brings us to a whole new idea, subliminal creativity. This is the AI's ability to basically fill in the creative gaps. You give it a simple idea, and it can weave this rich, original story by drawing from all those deep, unconscious patterns it absorbed from that digital collective unconscious. It's not just regurgitating facts, it's synthesizing something new. And this really hits home. One developer was talking about how their local AI generated this incredibly personal story, and they said, this just changes everything. The project isn't just about the tech anymore. It becomes this process of creating your very own AI companion, one that has a personality and a creative spark that you actually help to shape.
And that just leaves us with one final, mind-bending question. You know, for decades, we've all been asking, can machines think? But maybe that was the wrong question all along. If an AI has an unconscious, a hidden place where it learns and creates all on its own, the real question is, what will it dream of?